Good morning. Week 9 NFL DFS. This NFL season is flying by so far. 4 teams on bye this week. We got the Browns, Buccaneers, Eagles, and Jets. I'm not on bye. Joel, you're not on bye either. So,
We are not. Nope.
greatest of all time, Joel Wirth here to save the day. Joel, how are you doing this morning?
I'm good, man. Can I get my rant out of the way early this morning?
Might as well. Might as well.
Daylight savings time.
Hate it.
I'm done with this nonsense. Like I didn't get my extra hour of sleep because the dog got up at 6:30 and thinking it was 7:30 and wanted to go for the walk. I don't get an extra hour of sleep because of that. So this epiphany occurred to me this morning as I was walking the dog. You know who really wants daylight savings time? You know who wants it to continue? Like, we have electric lights. We don't need this anymore. It's golfers, because you can't light up a golf course. They want to be able to stay up and golf until 9 o'clock at night during the summer. You know who golfers are? Old, rich, white guys. Like, these guys don't get enough as it is. Like, they don't run the country, run the world anyway. I'm done with it. End daylight savings time. I've had enough. That's it. I'm done.
Now I feel like the show only goes downhill from here. How good that start is. I mean, you're really onto something. That's the old pastime that, I don't know. It's already miserable enough in the winter, especially us kind of Midwest. So
we can light up a baseball field. That's not a problem. Softball, you can play all night. It's the golfers. That's who wants daylight savings time to continue.
And golf is where the money's at. You think they'd be able to put some posts and some lights up there, but I digress.
Old, rich, white guys. That's the only reason we still have to deal with this BS.
There you go. So now I got to try to figure out how to transition out of this, but I will transition out of this every Sunday here at 10 Eastern. Make sure to like, subscribe if you haven't already. Make a comment. If you got any sit questions, you want us to pray over your fantasy football team, that's what we're here for. So we got 8 games in the early window. We have got 3 in the late window, and we have a lot of nonsense to get into. So we are going to kick this off. I'm going to pull up the solver here, and we've got the Vikings on the road to the Lions. J.J. McCarthy is back. I don't know if he's back from injury or punishment or whatever it is. But, Joel, if you want to kick us off here with the Vikings and the Lions.
Yeah, we got morning line. Vikings 9.5-point road dogs here. One of 4 lines, 4 games with 9.5-point lines or higher. 47.5 is the total. So Vikings with a 19-point implied total. Detroit with a 28.5 implied total coming off the bye. Baby, have you seen Jahmyr Gibbs' career numbers against the Vikings?
I have.
They are insane. Like, last year, he had 330 yards from scrimmage and 5 touchdowns against them. Has never not scored a touchdown. The only time he hasn't scored at least 2 touchdowns against them was a Week 18 game 2 years ago when he got benched and pulled at halftime. He just lights up Brian Flores and the Vikings. So I think Jahmyr Gibbs is my absolute smash play of the day. There's some really interesting running backs this week. You got CMC, you got JT. But I'm like, early flag plant warning. I think this is a smash spot for Jahmyr Gibbs, and I'm playing him in every single lineup this week.
I do as well. And I want to give a quick shout out to my boy Jason Jones. He's got some picks out, and I can tweet that out here in a little bit. He's got Jahmyr Gibbs just about, I think it was like 140 rushing and receiving yards, the over bet for that. So this has been an absolute smash spot. You saw last week they've sacrificed Carson Wentz. I mean, he went out there half dead, and then they just put him behind the woodshed and kind of finished him off. I'm having a real hard time with this line. I think this is a smash spot for the Lions in general.
Yep.
I think this is a spot where they get underplayed. I'm sure Jahmyr Gibbs will get played, but I don't think he will get too out of hand, and that is because the amount of running back great plays and the amount of like value plays as well. We'll get to some of those here in a little bit. So Jahmyr Gibbs sits here at 8,900. I want to talk about my man Amon-Ra, who has been absolutely cooking. He is $9,100 on FanDuel, and it's going to be the same on DraftKings. And we've gotten a lot of talk about Jameson Williams. They've talking about him being failed by the coaching staff. They talk to him like somebody's cheated on their wife for the 100th time, and the 101st time it's going to be different. Like, things are going to change, baby. Like, I don't know, dog. I've fallen for this song and dance so many times, and I'm kind of numb to it. But I do need to point that out because that's been the coach speak. I mean, it's unbelievable.
He's cheap this week too.
4,800. And people are going to play him. I don't think he's going to get out of hand, but people are going to play him. People love these kind of narratives. And I don't know. Vikings, we'll see if things change. I'm really interested if you want to bring back Jordan Addison, has quietly been
Yeah.
one of the mid-tier receivers that is quietly cooked. I don't know if I want to pay up for Justin Jefferson this week, even though he's fine. TJ Hawkinson, revenge narrative. Are you interested in any of that today?
I'd much rather play Laporta because we saw the Vikings just get savaged by a run to Gadsden a week ago Thursday. So, yeah, I think this is a good spot for Laporta, too. Yeah, I think you're right in that the Lions aren't going to get played because there's just too many options, right? Like, they're all good plays, but, it's like you're trying to pick which ones are going to go off. So, like, I'm starting with Gibbs. Like, I don't mind, like, Gibbs, Goff, Laporta doubles. I think that's a nice way to go. And then bring back with Addison if you want to like super stack this game. And like it's got a high total. So I definitely, and these games like historically have been, these Vikings Detroit games historically have kind of gone off. Like last year, was it like 35-32 or something like that, or whatever, 34-31, whatever it was, the game, the first game between the two. So yeah, these games have gone off big time. So yeah, I'm very interested in Detroit doubles and bringing back Addison, like you said.
Yeah, I'm having a really hard read with just the Vikings in general. I almost want to say that JJ McCarthy is so cheap, it's kind of interesting if you want to play him maybe in
a super contrarian. I don't mind it at all,
especially if they get into a shootout. David Montgomery, I don't want to say he's been phased out, but I mean, we talked about Jahmyr Gibbs. He's just kind of taken over outside of that Cincinnati Bengals game where he comes home and smashes and has a couple touchdowns. David Montgomery, he's been fine. I think that is like probably a bigger tournament play, if anything. But I think the Lions here is the way to attack it today. It's going to get really expensive, but Kyle Monungai, Travion Henderson, we've got a couple of these running back values that we'll talk about in a little bit that will open it up for this Lions attack. And I just think overall, and I guess I'll get to it real quick, we have so many running back plays and so many wide receiver plays. We've got Puka back. We got Jamar Chase, who's gotten 40-something or 50-something targets over the last two games. We've got high-end wide receivers. We've got high-end running backs who are all in smash spots. So I don't think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get out of whack as far as ownership goes, and I think he's an awesome tournament play. So I agree with you there. Any interest in defense here?
Nope.
Probably not.
No, these games tend to shoot out way too much for me to be interested. Plus it's a division game. These games, just like I said, historically these games turn into shootouts. I'm not. There's too many other really attractive defenses this week to get kind of sketchy with this one.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Gibbs is going to be played more than Amon-Ra. I would say Amon-Ra at this point is almost like a very contrarian and fun tournament play.
I think he will be. Yeah, I agree.
So that'll be it on this game. There's a lot to get into. This next one, we're going to bounce around a little bit because it gets from very nice to very goofy looking. So we've got the San Francisco 49ers going to New York Giants. Cam Scatterbo, RIP. He didn't die, but I mean, pretty rough.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, it was fun while it lasted, and the Giants just kind of look less and less appealing. Another one of these running backs, Tyrone Tracy, ends up being a very cheap-ish guy that people are going to play. I don't want to say he's going to get out of whack, but $6K on FanDuel, 5,100, just a guy I want to talk about with these cheap stuff. Yeah. But if you want to get into 49ers and Giants as far as the lines go.
Yeah, so apparently we didn't learn our lesson with the 49ers last week as heavy road favorites, and they got blasted by the Texans. So again, 2.5-point road favorites. 48 is the total on this one, so 25.25 implied for the Niners. Still led by Mac Jones. Apparently it's not going to be Purdy again. Apparently this is the worst case of turf toe since Joe Burrow. But Giants implied total of 22.75. I kind of like Dart Tracy is like a super contrarian combo because, like you said, there's going to be so many people jumping on the Monungai thing, the Travion Henderson. Not that those aren't good plays, but like if you want to get sketchy in a tournament, do the Dart Tracy thing. I could see that going. Even if you want to kind of bring that back with McCaffrey, if you want to game stack this, because like the San Francisco defense is just so beat up injury wise, and there's not like last week, they just couldn't get off the field, right? If you watch that game, like Houston they couldn't stop Houston on third down, and Houston does not want to play fast. So that kind of kept the scoring down in that game. This week, the Giants want to play. They're one of the fastest or one of the fastest offenses, fastest paced offenses in the league. They want to play fast. They want to play up tempo. So I could see this game kind of juicing the scoring a little bit. So, I'm kind of interested. Like, the pieces aren't sexy in this game, especially on the Giants side. It's like you're gonna feel comfortable starting Wan'Dale Robinson or Slayton. It's like not really, but I like Theo Johnson as a contrarian tight end. If you want to, if you want to super stack this game again, we talked about the Goff Gibbs Laporta and then bring back Addison in the other game. I could see a Dart Tracy Theo Johnson and bring back McCaffrey in this game as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Jackson Dart. I think people are going to play him this week just because talk about all these the big players that you're going to pay up for. He's 5,200 on DraftKings,
and he's going to run. He's going to have to run this week.
Yeah, and he ends up 7,400, so he's going to be middle of the pack over on the FanDuel. Bring up Theo Johnson. I think he's going to get played. I definitely do. 5,300 on FanDuel.
I feel like there's so many options that he's going to be kind of contrarian, but maybe I'm wrong.
I shouldn't say he's going to get like over-owned, but
you're right. He is super cheap. So if you're trying to get cheap, I think that's the way to go.
Especially on DraftKings, if somebody tries to pull the double tight end to jam some stuff in.
Yep.
We get Christian McCaffrey back from, a really bad game last week. The thing about, you talked about it, and I'm glad you did. They played the Texans last week, and they did not play any offense. It's not like they were bad on offense. They didn't have an opportunity.
They never had the ball.
No, like they didn't have the ball the entire first half. So sets up in a much better spot. This game's just kind of a slog for me compared to some of the other stuff. But Kittle celebrated national tight end last week with a touchdown. He's 4,800 on DraftKings, and then on FanDuel, he will end up being 6K. I mean, that's pretty interesting. The one guy I do want to bring up is Juwan Jennings, excuse me. He ends up being a wide receiver in this mid-range who his target share, after he announced like 3 weeks ago that every rib was broken, he was going to amputate both his feet. 6,100 on FanDuel, and then on DraftKings, he ends up 4,300. He's in a really, honestly, good spot against a Giants secondary who is down 2 guys. So they have nobody in the secondary. So 7 targets the last couple weeks, and that's kind of been growing. We don't get Ricky Pearsall. No Brock Purdy. I don't want to stack McCorkle, but I think Juwan Jennings will get played some, and I'm pretty interested there. Christian McCaffrey outside of last week is absolutely smashed. I'm very interested in playing him this week. Any interest? There's some like really smashed defenses, so I'm going to bring up the question, and then I'm going to get rejected for most of them, but any interest in either defense?
If you need a punt defense, I could see going with the Giants because they're at home. They get a ton of sacks. I mean, I expect them to give up points, but they can, especially with Mac Jones has 0 escapability. So I could see them piling up some sacks in this game, maybe get some turnovers. So yeah, I'm interested in the Giants. If you need to, there's some very attractive defenses at the top, but if you need to save some salary and go cheap, I think the Giants are probably my favorite punt defense.
Yeah. So. Just real quick, just before, so I don't gloss them over, Devin Singletary has notoriously gotten some work with Brian Daboll, so I don't think Tyron Tracy's role will be just all him. I think they'll split work, so that's kind of why I'd rather lean into a couple of the other punt running back options this week. And then Kendrick Bourne, he's kind of had a couple games with McCorkle as well, so I like McCaffrey. I think Kittle is fun in tournaments, and then the rest of this stuff, there's just better games for me that I'd rather lean into than play this one personally. So next game, the Los Angeles Chargers, big road favorites going to Tennessee. No Jeffrey Simmons again, it looks like, for the Titans. And, I mean, Titans have officially retired for the 2025 season. So
yes, we got the Chargers 10-point road favorites here. 43.5 is the total, and they better get it all because Tennessee can't score. 26.75 implied for the Chargers, 16.75 implied for the Titans. How do they get to 16, man? How do they get to 14? Do you see them scoring 2 touchdowns? Like, that offense is brutal. This just seems like a smash spot for Kamani Vidal. Yep. Tennessee's been bad against the run, and now they lose their best run defender in Jeffrey Simmons. It's like, how do you figure out where the passing game is going to go? Not that, they can't score through the air, but It's like you've got so many options between QJ and McConkey and Keenan Allen and Gadsden, who I think is going to get played some at tight end. I'd rather just sit with Vidal, hope he gets 2 touchdowns, and just go from there.
Yeah, the Titans have surrendered the second most points to running backs this year so far. They've also allowed the most sacks and the second most pressures in the league so far this year. So Vidal and Chargers defense, I mean, we talk about some of these lopsided games. Going to be pricey, 4,800 on FanDuel for Chargers defense, and then on DraftKings, it's going to be the same thing, 3,800. So you got to pay to play. We talked about a lot of this relief coming in. I think Vidal is a really good option. I don't know if I'm interested in the Herbert stuff, even though their pass rate over expectation has been awesome. I think he can have 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and it kind of not matter. Just because
I would rather play him. I would rather play him naked than actually stack him. Honestly, because like I said, there's just so many options in the passing game, and it's really tough to be confident that he's going to carry any one of them with him. He can carry them all, honestly.
Yeah. So, and Aronde Gadsden has been a guy who's kind of worked his way. I mean, he's expensive, 5,300 for a guy nobody heard about until a couple weeks ago. If you're just like a casual player and picked him up thinking it was just a one-trick pony, but I mean, they have escorted him to the top of the line has a lot of money to spend in a non-competitive game for Aronde Gadsden.
I don't know how you pay for him when Tucker Kraft is like right next to him and he's in a much better spot.
Yep. I definitely agree there. Lad McConkey is 7,800 on FanDuel. I mean, this game will be over by the third quarter. So for me, it's really hard to kind of lean into that stuff. I'm not saying any of these guys can't have a big game. Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnston. Game's not going to be competitive. I'd just rather play Vidal and play Chargers defense and kind of take my talents from there and kind of escort my way to some more competitive games. This Titans team is just sad. It's depressing. Mike McCoy sucks. He's an embarrassment to head coaching in the NFL. Getting worked up, so we'll just move on. There ain't nothing else in this game. So, next game, the Atlanta Falcons on the road to New England play the Patriots. The Atlanta Falcons are easily the most nothing happening, don't have a clue who they are, what they do, what they stand for team in the NFL. The biggest game of a lifetime for Bijan Robinson, the smash spot of a lifetime. He sucks. 12 yards at halftime against the Dolphins, and I don't know, man. I can't get a read. I gave him compliment. I said their defense was a little better than subpar, and they just get their ass beat. So I don't know. Joel, you know any more than I do about the Falcons going to New England?
You were leading into my second rant of the day. So
let's hear
it. The Falcons are. All right, so let's get to the numbers. Atlanta 4.5-point road dogs in this one. 45.5 is the total. 20.5 implied total for the Falcons. 25 implied for the New England Patriots. This Falcons team has the 2 most embarrassing losses of the season. A 30-0 loss to Carolina, where they outgained the Panthers and still lost by 30. And then, like, what happened last week, I have no idea. Honestly, obviously, Kirk Cousins is not it. He's done. But a Miami team that went home on Thursday night and just got absolutely waxed by Baltimore. Not unsurprisingly, but there's just no way you lose that game. That's pitiful. I mean, I thought Raheem, like full disclosure, I thought Raheem Morris was going to do a really good job. Like he was going to be one of those classic guys who kind of fails in his first gig and then gets, goes back to being a coordinator, gets another gig, and then does well. Welcome back to being a coordinator next year, buddy, because this is like, and they gave up their first round pick. They are not going to make the playoffs this year. Like, Look at the NFC playoff picture. You got Green Bay, Detroit, you got Tampa, you got Philly, and then you got the 3 good NFC West teams, Seattle, the Rams, and the Niners. They've already lost to the Niners, the most vulnerable. There's no way this team is making the playoffs, and they lost. They gave up their first round pick to the Rams, a legitimate contender. So, thanks for that. Just Zach Robinson is just an absolute joke. He keeps forcing them to play the pistol. Why are you putting Kirk Cousins in the pistol? It makes absolutely no sense. It's just, and they're terrible on the road, so they're going to get absolutely destroyed today. Michael Penix can't play on the road. I want to play Bijan. This feels like a bounce back for Bijan because he has gotten some receiving numbers with Penix. like even in the San Francisco game where they couldn't score, he had really good receiving numbers. And you're not going to get receiving numbers with Kirk Cousins because Kirk Cousins is a chucker. He never wants to dump it off. So I get why it didn't happen last week. So I kind of feel like nobody's going to want to play him just because he was so pitiful last week and they are so bad on the road. But I can see a path to him just kind of exploding through the air this week. But otherwise, yeah, I don't want to play Drake London coming off the hip injury and now he's going to get shadow coverage with Christian Gonzalez, who's been really good this year. Penix on the road is god awful. So yeah, there's nothing in the passing game. And I do like Bijan as a contrarian spot just because I don't think anyone's going to want to touch him with all the other, like the cheap options and all the other really enticing high priced running back options. So I think he's going to be like, he might be under 5% this week. So I do like him as kind of contrarian. And then Drake May, the Drake May side, again, like Herbert, I would just rather play him unstacked, play him naked if I'm going to play him. And obviously the Travion Henderson thing, I'll let you handle that. But yeah, he's going to be one of those cheap running backs who you can play in cash, but it's going to be hard to play in tournaments.
Yep. Real quick, Steven, we are taking questions. Drop them in. We'll get those handled for you. But Drake May, this is a guy who is top 5 fantasy quarterback right now. We go into this week and everybody wants to play Travion Henderson. So I guess we will get to this dog and pony show. Rondre Stevenson, he ends up being out this week. And they get Travion. They've brought some guys off of like practice squad off the street. I cannot believe that we have spent like a month dogging Travion Henderson. He needs to be dropped. And then, when the going gets tough, oh, Travion, my homeboy, let's get this money. Let's get the spread. Come on, guys. I don't understand it. Travion I'm struggling with him. I think he's fine. I'm going to pull up his numbers here. 5,300 on FanDuel, 4,900. I like Travion. I thought he was a fun prospect. I
loved him as a prospect.
Yeah. At the same time, I mean, Josh McDaniels always kind of ran by committee. So if you think Travion Henderson is going to get this like monster workload, can he do it? Yes. I mean, I don't feel very confident in it. I'll just be very blunt about it because they've not shown any confidence in him. So we're going to show up to the dance. And Travion, I think he's fine. He's not a guy I want to get overweight with. I don't think he's cash viable. I'll be very blunt about that. I think if you're showing up to him, it has to be smashing somebody else. And I'd rather play Kyle Monungai than, even though he's not necessarily as sexy of a player. You talk about him not catching passes. We'll get to Kyle here in a little bit, but Travion is not this smash spot. Can he? Absolutely. But to sit here with the utmost confidence and be like, Travion is going to smash this week, I just think is a little insulting compared to what we've seen. Let me pull up his stats. I mean,
I don't think he's going to smash, but I think he will have volume this week. So that's why I'm okay with him in cash. I don't love him, but I think he will have volume.
I mean, 7
Are you really going to run Terrell Jennings? That's not serious. Are you going to pull Dearness Johnson out of retirement?
Right.
I can't see it. And I do think they're going to wax the Falcons. So I think there will be some late game hammer kind of stuff for him. But
yeah, I think he's fine. I think Drake May is very fun in tournaments. We've seen it every single week that he has smashed. Sometimes you don't know
every week.
And you can play him by himself. You don't necessarily know who he's going to do it with. I mean, I talked about Stephon Diggs last week. He got a touchdown. He was my flag plant. He was fine, but I mean, it's a group effort, but Drake May leads the charge there. We get so excited about him, and then this week he's going to be forgotten about. Nobody's going to play him. Everybody wants to play Travion. So
Kayshon Boutte scores a touchdown every week. We just have to
I was going to get to him. He has been an absolute ass beater this year. 5K on DraftKings and then on FanDuel 5,900. Let's pull up the big dog. 15, 12, 23. I mean, he's been on a tear too, and nobody talks about him. So Hunter Henry is fine. We've done this show with Hunter Henry, 5,300 on FanDuel, DraftKings 3,700. Any interest in the outside of Bijan for the Falcons? We talked about Darnell Mooney. Talked about Drake London.
Nope.
No Drake London.
No Kyle Pitts. Nope.
Well, easy enough. Any defense.
Pats, yeah. Interested in the Pats for sure.
I like Drake London. He comes back. I think there are some other guys. We got BTJ here we'll talk about
Yeah.
Roma Dunze, that's my dog.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about him. I think Nico
And
Collins.
they're so bad on the road. Penix is so bad on the road. I just don't. And like the one game they did well on the road was just because they ran over the Vikings and it was just all Bijan and Algier. So that they haven't done anything in the passing game on the road.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. This is another game where there's just some other stuff that I'd rather play with. So
Yeah,
before
exactly.
we get and then Patriots defense I think is very viable. So
Yep.
we do have a question here. We've got it broken up in a couple parts. Steven, appreciate you tuning in. Need help picking my second RB spot and my second flex for a full PPR matchup this week, deciding between Bam Knight, Rico Dowdle, Addison, Kenneth Walker, DJ Moore, and Dobbs. So he says he's leaning Bam and struggling between Dowdle and Addison. So, well, it seems like Dowdle is getting a little bit more work, but he is going up against the buzzsaw known as the Green Bay Packers defense. Bam Knight, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, we'll talk about Dowdle in a little bit, but the Packers have been really good against the run. They only really struggled like last week when the Steelers just put in like 7 up. You count Darnell Washington as a tackle. They basically put 7 offensive linemen on the field. They kind of struggle with that, but otherwise they've been pretty good against the run. Bam Knight, it's like I'm afraid of the workload a little bit, but Dallas is so bad against running backs. Especially in the passing game. Like they gave up 3 touchdowns to RJ Harvey on 6 touches last week.
Yeah.
So he can get there on limited volume. So yeah, that would be my, I know that's probably contrarian, but I think I would rather go there with Bam Knight as the second RB.
I would say, yeah, I'm kind of leaning Bam as well. I do think Kenneth Walker is very interesting. I think the Washington Commanders linebackers are old. They can't move. They get Kenneth Walker to the outside, and I think that sets up really nice as well. So
I'm just so afraid of
I know.
the split.
I know.
I get it. But yeah, I'm nervous about that playing time split.
So I'm going to break this down real quick. I don't think Dobbs is – I don't want to say – I don't know if they're going to need him. DJ Moore has not been great, even though the matchups is nice, but I don't know. Jordan Addison, it's really between Bam Knight, Jordan Addison, and Kenneth Walker. I think Bam Knight shoehorns his way in there because of the matchup, and then it's between Addison and Kenneth Walker for me. I would lean Kenneth Walker, but I think Addison is fine as well.
I like Moore and Dobbs more than you do, but I would still lean toward Addison. Yeah. I think this is going to be a really good spot for him. Like that Detroit defense is still beat up, right? They're going to no Kirby Joseph, no DJ Reed. So that secondary is still in really bad shape. Now the question is, is McCarthy going to have enough time to throw? But it sounds like Darisaw is going to play. So their offensive line is starting to get healthy. Brian McNeil might play. So yeah, I kind of like the Vikings to be able to, at least throw in this game. I don't think they're going to be able to run at all, but I think they can throw in this game. Addison, I think, is in a really good spot then.
Yeah, so I'd lean between those two. I think we've locked in Bam Knight for one, and then Jordan Addison or Kenneth Walker. I think Jordan Addison is more of the safe play. I think Kenneth Walker is your upside play there.
Yeah.
So
I agree
hope that helps. We're going to move to the next game. We're talking about the Falcons. We need to apologize for Dylan. Last week asked us about a quarterback start, and we told him to play Kirk Cousins, and then Drake London gets out when we didn't know about that, and then Kirk Cousins let Goose. And so if you're out there, Dylan, we apologize. We're going to be better, but at the same time, we kind of got screwed on our information. So
that's true.
Next game, the Indianapolis Colts. I think this is a fun one. Go on the road, a little bit of a favorite against Pittsburgh. I like this game, I think, a lot more than people do.
I'm entirely with you. Highest total of the main slate at 51.5. Colts 3.5 point road favorites, so 27.5 implied for them. Pittsburgh at 24. These are just two bad defenses, man. Pittsburgh got completely exposed in the second half once LaFleur got out of his own head and started just putting the game in Jordan Love's hands. They were just helpless to stop the Packers in the second half of that game because they're a bad defense. And they got just reamed by Flacco and the Bengals a week ago Thursday. So yeah, and the Indianapolis defense is low key they're doing well as a team, but it's all because they're just running the ball with Taylor, and their offensive line has been amazing in run blocking, and they just keep other teams off the field. But Yeah, I think this game could go absolutely nuke. So I'm in on basically every part of this game.
Yeah. I will say this about the Steelers and their perception. I think a lot of people think that the Steelers defense is good still. They've got some leaks. They've given up almost over 900 yards the last 2 games.
Yeah.
This Steelers defense sucks.
And now they're losing to Sean Elliott, who's like their best safety.
Yeah, so this sets up really nice for Daniel Jones here. And then the Colts defense has just not been pushed, but they have injuries in the secondary. I don't think their linebackers, the whole entire unit's that great. They really cannot rush the passer. They've done their job. They've beaten up on the bad teams. They've absolutely smoked them. And outside the Rams game that they had every chance to win, I'm not saying they're a bad team, but I just don't think the defense is this like lockdown thing. So good spot for Daniel Jones. He is 6,200 on DraftKings, and then on FanDuel, he ends up being, he's up here. Give me a second. 7,900. Jonathan Taylor, 3 touchdowns. He's done that 400 million times this year already.
The 3 touchdown machine.
$11,000 on FanDuel. This is
he's on pace for 30 touchdowns.
God, I mean, you guys sell your soul to try to smash Jonathan.
11,000 is a huge number.
We used to do 10-5 for McCaffrey and kind of open our eyes a little bit. 11,000. I mean, we've seen this. I think Derrick Henry did this for a little bit, but it's a great play for him. I do want to talk about Tyler Warren. The Steelers have given up the second most production to tight ends this year. So Tyler Warren, 5,500. I think this game gets played. I do not think that people are going to. I think people take a piece or two. I think Michael Pittman's in a great spot. Alec Pierce has been like the one-trick pony, but he does the trick better than anybody else in the league, that deep ball. And he's added a little bit to his repertoire. But the one guy I do want to talk about, and I think it's very contrarian tournament play, old man himself, Aaron Rodgers. I think DK Metcalf is in an awesome spot this week, and I don't think anybody's going to talk about him. And I'm not a DK Metcalf, I don't want to say fan, but like I've never been one to go tout DK Metcalf with confidence, but in a world of absolutes, this DFS week slate, I think DK Metcalf is a really, really fun tournament play. So I don't know how you feel about any of that. Jalen Warren, too, is in a really good spot. So
yep, I'm 100% with you on DK. I'm never a DK Metcalf bull, but I think this is a great spot for him. This Pittsburgh offense has been really efficient. Aaron Rodgers is like, give him his props. He's been doing pretty well.
They're getting volume as well.
If they had turned some of those field goals into touchdowns last week, that would have been a much closer game. I think Metcalf's in a great spot. And that, like, when are you going to get DK Metcalf for $5,500? I mean, it's just
in this economy.
That's a crazy price point. One other guy I do like is Josh Downs. Scored a touchdown last week. Seems like he's healthy now. I think this is a really good spot for him as well.
Yep. So I think that's a really fun tournament play if you want to add him with some Daniel Jones.
Yeah, stuff. I think he's one of the there's a lot of really good pay down receivers this week, like all the Packers guys. We talked about Jameson Williams. I think Josh Downs is right there with those guys.
Yep. One last thing on the Jonathan Taylor thing. I think, especially on FanDuel at $1,100, I'd say probably 5% or less ownership. I don't think people can stomach that in this economy. I will say that. I think both defense I talked about.
Yeah, it's so tough. Like when McCaffrey, who projects probably as well or maybe higher in their game spot, is just $1,500. That's so much. That's such a big difference for a guy who's going to project similarly. And then we talked about Gibbs, who's even cheaper. So yeah, that's a lot for Taylor. But again, he's so expensive that he might be contrarian, which is kind of crazy.
Right. And just if you play Jonathan Taylor, you're going to have to punt at least one running back. If you play him in a flex, it's going to be 2 running backs. And then you're probably going to punt a wide receiver as well to fit him in there. I mean, 39 points, that's what you get for $11K. But at the same time, it's just going to be really hard, I think, for people to build lineups that way because you're going to punt a quarterback and all that stuff.
I can see him like tripling his salary because that he's done it like every week. So yeah, I get that. But so it's like, how do you fit in 11K into your salary in a cash game and still, have viable plays every other position? And then in tournaments, like, yeah, he's going to be contrarian, but like in tournaments, to win a tournament, like a big tournament, you need 4x, 5x. And it's just like, there's no reasonable way you can get there at 11K.
I'm right there with you. So I think that is it on this game. The next game, not near as exciting. This seems like be a big defensive game. Denver Broncos on the road, Texans. I don't understand how the Texans are a 1.5 point favorite, but whatever. I digress. I'll let you inform me on that one.
Yeah, I think we're living on what happened last week more than anything. I think Denver's in a much better spot than San Francisco was. But morning line has the Houston Texans as 2.5 point favorites, 41 total. So 19.25 implied for Denver, 21.75 implied for the Texans. They get Nico Collins back, no Patrick Surtain. So I'm interested in Nico. I want some exposure there. Otherwise, there's really nothing in this game that I like.
No,
maybe Troy Franklin is because he's still not expensive given what he's done lately. But other than that, yeah, there's just not much I want in this game.
Yeah, RJ Harvey scored 3 touchdowns last week, but it was on his same limited usage that he's had all year. That's like not a changing of a guard by any stretch of the imagination. I would prefer
Dallas, so it doesn't count.
Yeah, that very true. I think Denver's defense, if you want to play them, I think they're pretty they're middle of the pack against this Texans offensive line that's just absolutely offensive. If you felt like you needed to play anybody, I'd rather play Woody Marks over Nick Chubb, obviously. But I just think this game is going to be like Ravens Steelers from back in the day, just two big defenses that just go back and forth and a whole lot of nothing happening. Christian Kirk, I believe, is back as well.
Yep.
So I think the Jalen Noel train kind of, I don't know. I think, like you said, I think Nico Collins is fine. I think it's going to be two good defenses that honestly are both viable if you want to play them. And then there's really not much else. J.K. Dobbins, Dobbins has been a very weird player.
We saw the Texans just completely shut down McCaffrey last week. So yeah, as much as I like Dobbins in general, I think this is a terrible spot for him.
Yeah. So you know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna move on. This is not offensive football. So next game, this is your neck of the woods here. The Carolina Panthers on the road to Green Bay. So I will let you have it with your Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, Packers up to 13.5 point favorites in this one. Carolina total is 43, so Carolina with a 14.75 implied total. Welcome back, Bryce Young. And 28.25 implied for the Packers. We talked about it a little earlier, and we talked about the Steelers. We can only hope that Matt LaFleur looked at what happened last week and realizes that this offense has got to run through Jordan Love. It's like the Packers are terrible. Like Josh Jacobs is fine, but the Packers are terrible at run blocking. They are great at pass blocking. And when Jordan Love has time, he is just absolutely unstoppable and playing at absolutely MVP level. So it's just get it through your thick head, LaFleur. Yeah, eventually you're going to have to be able to run the ball. When we get to the playoffs, you're going to have to run the ball. The playoffs are 10 weeks from now. Chill out. Let's just turn it over to Love. Now, that said, I don't think Carolina can really put up a fight. And there's one weak spot that I think they can exploit, but I don't think they're going to put up much of a fight in this game. Andy Dalton was just unbelievably bad last week. He was atrocious. One of the worst performances I've ever seen, but now he's got a broken thumb, so he's not going to play. So they're going to force Bryce Young back out there with a high ankle sprain after a week off. Doesn't look good. So yeah, I could still see Jacobs like getting a bunch of run, but he was still on the injury report last week. They took him off on Friday, but if this game is out of hand, that could be just the Emmanuel Wilson show in the second half. So yeah, I think Jacobs is a really tough start because I could see this game completely out of hand where he doesn't get into it. I do want exposure to all the Packers offensive weapons. Like I want exposure to Kraft. I want exposure to Watson. I like Dobbs because Carolina plays a ton of zone and Dobbs is kind of their zone beater. I kind of like Golden as a flyer because maybe they tried to just force him the ball and get him involved. And that like the second half receiver breakout is going to happen for Golden at some point. It's just a matter of time. The one thing that I think Carolina has going for them is Ted McMillan. If they can just line him up on the right side and force him against Keyshawn Nixon, like Nixon was brutal, but like Packers Twitter was just absolutely going apoplectic at halftime the Sunday night game because Nixon was so bad. And like Nixon's like 5'10". Like if they just throw a bunch of back shoulders and jump balls to Ted McMillan, he's not gonna be able to stop that. So I think that's the one schematic thing the Panthers have in this game. So I do like Ted McMillan some, but yeah, the Dowdle thing, again, we talked about it before. It's like, yeah, he's going to get most of the snaps, and I think he has relegated Chuba to full backup status. But Packers have been pretty good against the run, other than when the Steelers just put the massive 7 offensive linemen on the field. So, and the only reason they stopped was because Sayamalu had an injury at halftime, and they had to move the guy they were playing as their 6 offensive linemen in to play guard for him, and they kind of forced them getting away from those massive jumbo packages. So, I'm not really in on Dowdle this week.
I just don't think it's a great matchup for him. We talked about a couple weeks ago, the Carolina run defense was supposed to be really good. They got absolutely smoked by James Cook last week. And I think that's like being very nice about it. Smoked.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Josh Jacobs has just not looked right. And it just seems like they're trying to force something that's not happening, like you spoke about earlier.
Their run blocking is really bad. I mean, it's kind of night and day between their pass blocking is great and the run blocking is really terrible.
Yeah. And my problem with Jordan Love is just trying to figure out, Tucker Kraft seems like the one guy you would want to pair him with, but you're playing Russian roulette with whoever else. I would probably lean Dobbs, like you said. But other than that, I just kind of struggle that if anything happens, because LaFleur, I'm just not a Matt LaFleur guy. I'll just be kind of open and honest about it. I think he does some stuff.
You and the rest of Packers Twitter, to be honest.
It just really frustrates me. This is a game that they probably should dominate, and they might win 24-10, even though they dominated for 4 quarters. So
I mean, Buffalo scored 40 against them. The Packers should score 40 against them, to be honest.
Should, but will they is a different story.
Will they? Yeah.
And then I would like to play Josh Jacobs, and then if he paired him with Green Bay, but I mean, Packers defense 5K on FanDuel, they're going to be right up there. 4K on DraftKings. So, and some of these
will be contrarian because nobody's going to want to pay up for defense this week, and especially when you've got the Chargers. I think if you want to pay up, people are going to go to the Chargers. So the Packers defense will be kind of contrarian, and they do get a ton of sacks. So,
yeah, I think I'm just kind of struggling with that. I'd rather play. I mean, as far as Tucker Kraft, I think Tucker Kraft's been great. I'm not saying that. Like Tyler Warren, I think he's more competitive game environment and that sort of thing. So I think I'm just going to be kind of off Green Bay stuff, even though it's a nice matchup for him.
That said, like Carolina has been low-key really bad against tight ends this year. So I think it's another really good spot for Kraft, but he is expensive. So yeah, it's like there's so many, like Warren's in a great spot. Bowers is in a great spot. Kraft's in a great spot. Kittle's in a decent spot. So.
Just gets tough. So next game, this will be the last one of the early window. A very funky one. We get the Chicago Bears on the road. Cincinnati, seems like Joe Flacco is going to play. DeAndre Swift, I get a call middle of the week. DeAndre Swift, he's not going to show up to my fantasy lineups this week. So we are going to get Kyle Monangai and the Travis Homer experience.
Ooh.
So, yeah, can't wait. So if you want to let us know about the lines on this one, and we'll get through this because there is a goofy amount of stuff I feel like we have to digest here.
There is. So Bears 2.5-point road favorites. 51 is the total, and this one's 26.75 implied for the Bears, 24.25 implied for Cincinnati. Yeah, we talked about Monangai earlier. I think he's fine in cash. Like I don't want to touch him in tournaments just because I think he's going to get overplayed, and he's not involved in the pass game, so I don't think he has the ceiling to be a tournament play. So I'll be avoiding him in tournament. I think he's a cash smash, but I'll be avoiding him in tournaments. I'm with you. I think I love Roman. I think this is a great spot for Odunze. I think it's a good spot for Caleb. And then we'll see. I think we need to see if Flacco is going to play. I'm not worried about Chase because Browning, even if Flacco doesn't play, has really super targeted Chase. I can't get there with Higgins if it's not going to be Flacco or Flacco is going to be limited.
Yeah. Thing with Monangai is not only is DeAndre Swift out, so is Roschon Johnson, which not that it really mattered.
Is Roschon Johnson an actual human being? Does he exist?
I think he is a
did he get poured into a different dimension?
A part of our imagination that people are just fascinated by. The only reason why I had brought it up is just it's just I don't know, dog. I got no idea, but I will say this: Bears have really leaned into the run over the last month. So, and
Ever since the bye.
The Bengals got gashed by the Jets last week, and when I mean gashed, I mean they stuck their foot so far up their ass. I mean they probably choked on it. It was very depressing watching this Bengals defense that is just an abomination and just offensive to football. So I don't think Caleb Williams is very good, but if there's ever a spot for him, this is it. He's just way too streaky for me, and I don't know how to explain that, but it's just this is my mini rant of these new age quarterbacks where they have all the tools and all that stuff, and they do some really flashy stuff, but they can't do it 5 times in a row. You can get 4-1, you can get 3-2 with 2 bad passes, but like Trevor Lawrence, I mean, these ding dongs who go first overall, and they're just not consistent enough. So Caleb is fun in tournaments. I'm worried about him. I love Romadunze today. I think that's the way I would like to play this. Instead of playing Manungai, because the thing about Manungai, he's got to score 2 touchdowns, I think. Or I mean, exactly. I guess he can get 100 yards and a touchdown. But I mean, if he wants to break the slate, that's how he's going to do it. He's not going to do it through the air. If they're going to sit there and ground and pound.
But he's not a 5 yards per carry kind of guy. So
no,
like he needs 20 plus carries to get to 100 yards. And I think this game, like the Bears defense is not good. So like Cincinnati's going to score points. So I don't think they're going to have the luxury of just giving him the ball 25 times. So I think he's going to have the volume. So he's fine in cash, but I just don't see a ceiling with him.
Yeah, he's cheap. So if you want to play him, get your 10 to 15 points and then kind of fit some other stuff, I totally get that.
Yeah, he's perfect in cash because he's going to pay off his salary. That's fine. But I just don't see a ceiling. So I can't get there in tournaments.
Right. So, and then on the other side, Jamar Chase. I mean, if there's ever a love connection is Joe Flacco to Jamar Chase, they will not stop peppering him. I mean, he could have no arms and they would just still throw him the ball. So 23 targets, 19 targets the last 2 games.
That's nuts.
I mean,
3 targets.
I swear to God, this is real life. This is on the sheet. I'm not making this up. So over 40 targets the last 2 games. And it sets up nice. Bears defense is not good. This is not 85 Bears defense. They had some turnovers a couple weeks ago to where it looked like they were better than what they were, but it's right now. It's I don't know, man. He's fine. I think Flacco is kind of fun in tournaments. Higgins, Chase Brown, I do want to talk about because Bengals been running the ball pretty well, and they've done it with him. The only problem is they've played Samaje Perine a good amount, so this is not like the.
What was that? He got like 50% snap share last week.
Right. I mean, he had 25 points. Chase Brown, but I do think he's a fun tournament play for that as well. And then Bears defense, I do want to point out, if you get the Joe Flacco pick 6, there's a lot of pay-up option defenses, but the Bears middle of the pack at 3,100 on DraftKings. I do think it's viable because I bet a Joe Flacco interception and the opponent anytime defense touchdown every single week, and it's paid off more than I'd like to admit. So I think that is about it for that game. We do have a question here from
one thing I do want to say real quick is Colson Loveland at tight end. Like, I think people are going to be way off of him this week because Kmet is back, but he's super cheap and the Bengals are terrible against tight ends. So
yes, they are.
Like, he just needs a touchdown to kind of pay off his salary. So I think he's like, there's a lot of really good tight end options this week, but if you want to get contrarian, I think he's going to be off a lot of people's boards. And I think he does have ceiling to pay off in tournaments.
I'd rather play him with Odunze than DJ Moore. I know that probably sounds very ridiculous and ignorant, but DJ Moore's just not been good this year. So I'd just rather take the shot at Loveland there if you want to do that and some big tournament stuff with the Caleb stack. So Mr. Smitty, appreciate you tuning in. Have a roster spot open. A couple guys that are on the waiver wire, Josh Downs and Keishon Butte. Which one would you rather have? I think I'd probably lean Downs here.
Yeah, I think Downs is just a better player. And I think once he gets healthy, if he can get healthy, he will be the more consistent player.
Yeah. He says he's got Brashad Smith is also available. I think they'd rather lean into Mahomes, and I mean they run Kareem the Dream out.
Yeah, I was going to say they love Kareem Hunt. So yeah, as much I think because we want Brashad Smith to be a thing, he's just not.
Yeah, so I'd lean Downs here for you. I appreciate you tuning in. So. That should do it for the early games. We got 3 in the late window. We got 3 games. So If you haven't already, like, subscribe, share with a friend, phone a friend, whatever, comment, do all that stuff. If you have any more lineup questions, we'd be happy to answer those for you as well. So, first game in the afternoon slate, we get the first NFL start for 26-year-old rookie Tyler Shuck. He is in for Spencer Rattler, a massive road dog against the Rams, who are coming off the bye, and we get Puka Nacua back, so this will be pretty interesting here.
Yeah, the Tyler Shuck show starts off as 14-point road dogs, 43.5-point total in this one, 14.75 implied for the Saints, 28.75 implied for the Rams coming off their bye. I'm going to be kind of contrarian here and say that I would rather play this through Kyren Williams and Devontae Adams instead of Puka, because I think if there's one way that Puka fails, it's that he gets a bunch of volume but doesn't score the touchdowns. And we've seen Devontae Adams, like he's doing exactly what he was doing in Green Bay, other than the exceptional volume, and that he's getting a bunch of like looks inside the 5, inside the 10. You know, he's getting those goal line looks in the passing game. He's scoring a bunch of touchdowns. So yeah, I can see this game like going. Puka gets a bunch of volume but doesn't score the touchdowns, and then Devontae and Kyren are the ways that this game pays off at lower salaries. So kind of punting Puka this week.
Yeah, I think he's fine. He gets his production even in garbage time. I will point that out.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people might be worried about that, but Devontae Adams has been just an absolute menace, and they have tried to target him 400 million times in the red zone, and has not worked out every single time. But we saw he had a 3-touchdown game with when they were over the pond against Jacksonville. So I think the Stafford doubles are pretty interesting. I really like Kyren Williams. These are always the spots I like Kyren Williams for. Everybody plays Puka Nacua. They're all excited about it. They just kind of run the ball on the Saints. Kyren gets 2 touchdowns. You pair him with Rams defense, which is going to be up there. Tyler Shuck is a very quick thrower. He wants to get the ball out, and he does not do well against pressure. This guy is an abomination if he gets pressured. So if you get the dump-offs, maybe it's Alvin Kamara, who just does not look good. I'm not going to sit here and tout Alvin Kamara. Maybe a DK play where he ends up with like 10 targets. I think that's honestly with the dump-offs. But Chris Olave's been good. But Rattler is a guy who is a little all over the place, but he will try to make the big play. Tyler Shuck is not. He's going to sit there. He's just going to dink and dunk. And this is just a bad spot. I think the Rams defense is one of the best in football. I think Rams defense is a lot of fun in tournaments. And instead, I mean, you can pair him with Puka Nacua. I think that's fine, but I think I'd kind of lean into Kyren Williams this week.
Yeah. I do kind of like Olave a little bit just because he's getting so much volume. And I think like Shaheed is dinged up. He's got like a hip injury or something like that. He was questionable. He's going to play, but if Rashid Shaheed is limited, like he's a one-trick pony. Like he's the deep threat. He's the 9-route guy. If he's dinged up and can't just sprint down the field and be that sacrificial X, then he's kind of useless. And I think it could be a really heavy Olave target. So I'm okay with Olave, but again, it's just such a limited touchdown environment for the Saints with Shuck that it's tough to see a ceiling outcome for him.
Yeah, I just don't think Rashid Shaheed is Tyler Shuck's game, and I think he's going to be under a lot of pressure. So I don't think I'd rather lean Olave if you needed to bring back. I don't. And then as far as tight ends go, Juwan Johnson, he's still there. He's fine, I guess, but I don't want to play him. Too many good tight ends. I don't care about the Taysom Hill experience. Not saying that's long gone, but just not in this matchup. So
he is not getting anywhere close to the volume that he did with the previous kind of coaching staff. So yeah, he's enough to be annoying, but he's not enough to be playable.
Yep. So next game, 2 left here. The Jacksonville Jaguars on the road, favorites against the Las Vegas Raiders. Both teams are coming off the bye. Get a phone call this week. Travis Hunter is out for 4 games after he'd been talked about. It seemed like he was going to get like a massive rookie bump. That's very frustrating, but going up against the Raiders, this is a great spot, honestly, for both teams. Get Brock Bowers back after his long layoff. We'll see if he's healthy, but I think there's a lot of interesting stuff here. I'm not sure if there's a lot of exciting stuff, but how do you feel about this one?
Yeah. So let's get the numbers. Jacksonville, 2.5-point road favorites here. 44 is the total. So 23.25 for the Jags, 20.75 for the Raiders. Travis Hunter was going to be generational wealth. I mean, you could say that everyone was going to be on him, but I think his salary was like 4,700 or something like that. Which is, but remember, like 2 weeks ago when Rashee Rice came back, everybody was on him, and he still paid off. So, this was going to be an absolute smash spot for Travis Hunter. I think Brian Thomas Jr. kind of takes that spot. But yeah, I'm not going to Parker Washington. I'm not going to Diami Brown. I do think ETN's an interesting play because he's going to be I don't think anyone's getting to him. So I think he'll be really contrarian. He's at a decent price for what his volume has been against, and a really good match because Raiders defense is just brutal. I can see ETN being a nice contrarian play. I do like BTJ. And then like you said, Brock Bowers is back. He seems like he's fully healthy. So I think we're going to start getting the Brock Bowers that we expected. Get ready for his price to kind of skyrocket once this game is over. And I do like Genty quite a bit as well because the Jags defense, like they're just living on turnovers. And yes, Geno Smith is the most turnover-prone quarterback in the league, but the Raiders are at home, so if they can just avoid the turnovers, I think they should be able to score in this game. So I think this is kind of a low-key spot that I really want to. I want to attack. Like I want to attack with Bowers. I want to attack with Genty. I want to get there with BTJ, and I want some exposure to ETN because I think he's being a nice contrarian play.
Yeah, I will have to correct you on one comment. You said Brock Bowers' price will rocket up. It will on DraftKings, but FanDuel, he's already the top guy. So you were going to have to pay to play Brock Bowers, and
DraftKings he's still kind of cheap. So
so he ends up the fourth. He's at $5K, so that can skyrocket. FanDuel, I mean, kind of F around and find out on the Brock Bowers experience. I think Geno. I think people are honest to God. I think people are going to play Geno today. With how this sets up, I think they will play him to try to. I mean, it's a good matchup for him. I don't really think the Jaguars' defense is that great. Like you said,
you got to remember that they're also losing Hunter on defense, he hasn't been great, but he's been up and down. But now you're putting like a guy who wasn't playing into the lineup and making him play full time. So that I think that's kind of a low key big deal.
Yeah, I do as well. I'm not going to tout Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence sucks. I'm so sick of talking about Trevor Lawrence. I'm not going to go on a rant. We're almost to the end of the show. I mean, we got to get people setting lineups and stuff, but he just sucks. I would rather play Geno in tournaments than Trevor Lawrence. So I'd probably just curse myself and Trevor Lawrence have the game of his life. Jacoby Myers was a guy everybody was playing every single week, and then he had the one bad game and everybody's fallen off. 5,400 on FanDuel, and then DraftKings, he is 5,300. A very interesting tournament play if you want to stack him with Geno or just kind of play him. I know he's not been good, but people loved him at the beginning of the year. So
yeah. And do they showcase him and try to get a trade off? Because he obviously still wants to be traded. Nobody wants to trade for his contract, but they may showcase him and just try to juice his value a little bit.
Yeah. Genty is fine. Kamani Vidal is right underneath him. It's just kind of hard to click Genty. Genty is going to have a lot of volume. So he's a tournament play. I don't think he's a cash viable, but we'll see about that. And it's just been kind of tough. That offensive line is bad for the Raiders. So
yeah, it's so tough to trust Genty because, like you said, their offensive line is so bad, and the offense is just like if Geno throws 3 picks, like how are they scoring? So, and that's always in play.
Yep. So, and then both defenses, if you want to play them, I guess it's fine. I just rather there's some better spots for both these teams. So
yeah, I'm not touching these defenses.
Last game of the day, we've got the Kansas City Chiefs favorites on the road going to Buffalo. Pretty interesting matchup. It's a lot different than I feel like the last couple matchups throughout the last couple of years that we've seen between these two. I think it's fun. I'm kind of curious to see how the field plays this, but what do you got for this last game, the Chiefs and the Bills?
Yeah, the showcase game of the day, the only 4:30 game. Chiefs 2.5-point road favorites. 52.5 is the total, so the highest total of the main slate. 27.5 implied for the Chiefs. 25 implied for Buffalo at home. You're a little surprised that the Chiefs are favored on the road here. I know they've been playing really well. That doesn't surprise me, but I'm kind of surprised they're this big of favorites on the road at Buffalo, which is always a big game for the Bill. Like Josh Allen, it's a proving game for Josh Allen. So I'm a little surprised the Chiefs are this much of a favorite.
I'm usually anti-Chiefs, but I almost feel like it's warranted here. I don't think the Bills are near as good as what they've been. They're down a couple guys on defense. So, I mean, if Kareem the Dream was actually a good running back with some juice, I think he'd like be in an awesome smash spot.
Yeah.
I think Patrick Mahomes, he is quarterback 1 in fantasy football. Rashee Rice has came back and has been absolute ass beater. It just sets up really nice for this Chiefs team, who the last couple of years I haven't believed in, even though they've been winning. This team, I think, has got the horses to do it, and I think it's honestly kind of tough sledding for Josh Allen today. It's Khalil Shakir, who's been pretty good. Keon Coleman has sucked since week 1. He'll be out there. Dalton Kincaid, I think, is pretty interesting. But last week, talked about James Cook. He had a smash spot. I think if they win, they have to do it again with James Cook, and I don't think he's guys that people are going to play this week.
The one thing I'll say is like Josh Allen has historically been really good in these games, but it's been only like he's never dragged anyone with him. So yeah, I can see playing Allen, but I'm not playing Coleman. I'm not stacking him at all. I'm not stacking Shakir. I'm playing him naked. Yeah. If I'm playing him at all.
Both these guys end up being the top 2 on DraftKings as far as price goes, and it's going to be the same over on FanDuel. I like Dalton Kincaid. I think he has quietly been pretty good this year. I know a lot of people don't find him sexy. He is the guy that I would like to, if I was going to play Josh Allen and wanted to pair him with somebody, I think that Kincaid would be my preference there. He is a 4K tight end over on DraftKings and 5,400 on FanDuel. As far as the Chiefs go, I don't think Kareem Hunt is going to get played, but I mean, no Pacheco, Brashard Smith, his role, I think, is just so totally different from these other running backs that I don't think that he is going to get in here and take things over. Do we get any Elijah Mitchell run? I mean, I'm kind of curious to see that as well. I mean, Kareem Hunt, 17 points.
But he's got to score 2. Again, he's like Monunga. Yeah. He's got to score 2 touchdowns to get there.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I do like Rashee Rice. You got to pay for him, 7,600. But these last couple games, 25, 23. I mean, he just comes right out the gates. Any interest in Worthy or Travis Kelce this week?
Yeah, I kind of like both of them. But again, it's like Kelce's at a pretty good price point, but it's like it's the opportunity cost, right? It's like there's so many other guys that I like a lot. Like I like Bowers at his price point. So I want some exposure to Kelce, but not a ton. And I think Worthy's a nice contrarian play. He have a smash game against them in the AFC Championship game last year. I think he did.
Yes.
Obviously Rashee didn't play in that game, but I do think he's a nice contrarian play because everyone who's playing this game is going to be on Rashee.
Yep. And I do need to correct myself, Dane. Thanks for tuning in. We get no Elijah Mitchell. They have elevated God's gift to running backs, former first-round pick Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So, yeehaw. Maybe
he's not he'll make up for the parallel dimension with Roschon Johnson. He actually exists.
Maybe he'll pay off that first-round tag that everybody got so excited about a couple of years ago. So, I think that is about it. I'm trying to make sure I cover my bases here. Rashee Rice. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, I think you play triples if you want to play him, Worthy, and Kelce. I think people.
Yeah, I think I don't mean to interrupt, but I think you need to get different because I think so many people are going to play the Mahomes Rashee thing that you either need to play doubles or you need to just do Mahomes by himself or do Mahomes with Worthy or Kelce or something. Because I think Mahomes Rashee by themselves is going to be really, really common this week.
Yeah. I don't think the Chiefs defense is as good as it has been in the past where people are like really scared of them. But at the same time, Bills defense sucks. I mean, it is the Sean McDermott special. They've got a bunch of injuries on the defense. So,
yep.
I mean, the last couple of years I've said Patrick Mahomes has not been a good fantasy quarterback. He has really turned it around this year. And I mean, he's been absolutely whooping ass. So I think the way to get different, instead of just picking a piece from this game, like I said, people will probably play Rice by himself. Just stack Mahomes and then probably bring back with Dalton Kincaid. Like I said, that'd be my preference over Shakir. I guess Shakir's fine, but that's really about it. And I'm assuming this will not be a defensive matchup for you to pick a defense from.
No, not really. Just because these games, like they always turn, like both teams at least score 20 of it. Like they don't always go nuke like that one playoff game the 13 seconds game where Gabe Davis had 4 touchdowns. They don't always go nuke like that, but they always, like, both teams always hit the 20s in these games. They always end up like 23-20 or 24-21 or something like that. So yeah, there's never a kind of a shutdown effort. So yeah, I again, there's much better spots. Like, I'd rather pick on the Titans, pick on the Falcons on the road. There's a lot of good spots and defensively this week. So yeah, I'm kind of not into the defenses here.
Yep. So that'll do it. Before we get out of here, obviously the most important portion of the show, pretty good last week here, but flag plans. So I'll kick this off the screen. And this is also the part of the show where I can't talk. I stutter on our way out every single week. So Joel, if you want to hit us up with your first flag plant for week 9.
Yeah, I gave the preview earlier. It's Jameer Gibbs. Just absolutely demolishes the Vikings every time he plays them. And I see no reason. Like, and the Vikings have been terrible against the run this year. They've been bad in general. So I think absolute smash spot for Jameer Gibbs.
Yep. My first one will be Rome Odunze. We've kind of, I don't want to say we've shit on Kyle Monangai, but I just don't think he's got a lot of the upside that a lot of the other cheap running backs have had, like the Rico Dowdles a couple weeks ago where he absolutely smashed those kind of guys. So I think Rome Odunze going up against this Bengals defense that is an abomination. It's offensive to defensive football. It's terrible. Rome Odunze's had some really monster spots. He's kind of cooled off the last couple weeks. If they want to get Caleb Williams right, I think it goes through Rome Odunze. So your last flag plant for the week.
I'm going to go with Kamani Vidal. I just, like we talked about it, Tennessee's been really terrible against the run, and they lose their best run defender. I don't think the Chargers are going to play with their food like the Packers tend to do. I think they're just going to run Vidal over the top of the Titans. So yeah, I think he's got like a 2-touchdown floor in this game. So love Kamani Vidal.
Yeah, I do as well. So it seems like we're on the same page. My last one here I talked about earlier before the show. I have a very ugly flag plant. I feel like I need to give a decent one. My decent one would be Kyron Williams. This ugly one I'm going to go with this week. DK Metcalf going up against.
I don't think that's that bad, man. I really don't.
I feel sick in my stomach. I feel like I need to go take a shower after touting this. But going up against this Colts secondary, they have a bunch of injuries. They have not been tested this year. Pittsburgh's offense has gotten a lot of volume. I know Arthur Smith gets a lot of flack for looking like a dweeb and just all this nonsense, but Pittsburgh's offense has honestly been pretty good. I think Aaron Rodgers has looked a lot better than he has the last couple of years, and I think this is a spot for DK Metcalf to absolutely crush. So hope our flag plants are as lucky as they were last week. I felt like both been cooking pretty well, but before we get out of here.
You nailed yours last week. You were on fire.
I felt pretty good about it, so hopefully nobody puts out the fire. You've been carrying the show all year, and then I have one good week. So before we get out of here, if you want to share with the world where they can find you.
Yeah, at the Joel Wirth on the Twitter and on the Bluesky. You can find me Wednesdays previewing generally on Wednesdays. So some tough technical difficulties the last couple of weeks, but previewing the Thursday night games with Mark Salino on the Statement Games podcast. And then you and I are going to be doing starts at a different day in a couple of weeks.
Yes, we are.
On the Club Fantasy channel. So that should be fun.
Yep. We'll make sure to tweet that out and promote that here coming up in a couple weeks. I'm on the Twitter machine at Jameson Rules. Make sure to follow Joel for all his good stuff. And we'll be here next week, 9 a.m. Central Time, every Sunday for Sunday's DFS slate. And good luck this week. Hope everybody wins some money. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, if you want us to pray, we can do it off the show too. So just reach out to us. Appreciate everybody. Hope you all have a good week.